You likely have a very specific picture in your head of what retirement looks like. The house is paid off, there are no more monthly payments, no big car payments, and nothing lingering in the background. It's kind of like the finish line. You work for decades, and at the end of it, everything is finally yours. That idea is so common that it almost feels automatic. People don't really question it, they just assume that's how things go. So the question isn't whether people want to retire debt-free. Most do. The better question is how often that actually happens. The answer? Not that often. A survey by the Employee Benefit Research Institute finds that only about 23% of retirees aged 65 to 74 are debt-free. Among those 75 and older, the share rises to roughly 46%, meaning even in the older group, more than half of retirees still carry some form of debt. Far less than half of retired people are debt-free. But once you look a little closer, that picture starts to break down. The timeline people expect and the one that actually plays out are rarely the same. Life stretches things, plans change, priorities shift. And over time, without any single big mistake, the outcome starts to look pretty different than what was originally imagined. So the question, it's easy to look at that and think something went way wrong, that people didn't plan well enough or fell off track. But most of the time, that's not really what's happening. It's usually much more subtle than that. The timeline just shifts, and that also raises a question. Is debt in retirement really a bad thing? Taken together, the picture is pretty consistent. Most people enter retirement still carrying something, whether that's a mortgage, a car loan, or another remaining balance, even though that's not how they usually expect it to turn out. Really a bad thing? Think about how it actually plays out for a lot of people. You don't buy your first house at 25 anymore. Most people buy it at 35 or 40. That alone pushes a 30-year mortgage into your mid-60s or later. Then, maybe a few years in, you move to a bigger place, or you refinance and reset the clock, or you take some equity out to renovate the kitchen or add a pool. None of those choices feel irresponsible in the moment, they're pretty normal. But now that original, I'll have this paid off by retirement timeline is gone, unless you're planning on doubling up on monthly payments. Mortgages are also quite a bit different than they used to be. They're not something most people pay off quickly like in the 1960s. They become long-term, sometimes even lifetime parts of financial planning. Lower interest rates have helped make that more manageable, but it also changes the way retirement math works. Instead of everything naturally winding down before retirement, some of those payments now extend right into it. Retirement itself doesn't look the same either. It's not always a hard stop anymore. A lot of people just ease into it. They cut back on hours or pick up part-time work. So the idea that everything needs to be perfectly paid off by a specific date matters less than it used to. If money is still coming in, even in a smaller amount, having a mortgage or a payment doesn't feel like a deal breaker. Then there's just real life over 30 or 40 years. Things come up that weren't part of the original plan. The roof on the house needs to be replaced. Healthcare costs go up. Maybe you help your kid with a down payment on their home or cover something unexpected for the family. In those moments, aggressively paying down debt usually isn't the top priority. You adjust, and those adjustments add up over time. There's also been a shift in how people think about debt. It's not automatically seen as something bad that needs to disappear as fast as possible. Now, it's more about whether it's manageable. People look at the interest rate, the monthly payment, and how it fits into everything else. The question becomes less, is this paid off? And more, does this actually cause a problem? That change in mindset alone leads to different outcomes. So if most people don't retire debt-free, the obvious question is, does that actually matter? It's easy to assume it does, but it's not that simple. Not all debt is the same, and not all situations are equal. But using the 4% withdrawal rate, every $1,000 in monthly debt increases the amount needed to retire by about $300,000. That comes from converting $1,000 per month into $12,000 per year, then applying the idea that a sustainable withdrawal rate is roughly 4% or about 25 times annual expenses. So even what feels like a manageable monthly payment really increases the size of the portfolio you need just to support it long term. Now think about two retirees who both own similar homes. One couple has fully paid off their house. No mortgage, no monthly payment. Their only major fixed costs are taxes, insurance, and basic living expenses. If they're both receiving Social Security, say around $2,000 per month each, which is about average, they can realistically get by on that alone if they keep their spending modest. There's a lot of simplicity there, nothing to think about beyond day-to-day expenses. Now take another couple in a similar situation, except they still have a mortgage. But it's a low-rate loan, around 3% they locked in years ago. Their argument is, Why would I pay off my 3% mortgage when I can invest it and earn an average of 10%, or put it into a savings account and earn 3%? Why would I pay it off if the interest rate is lower than the rate of inflation? Their payment is manageable, and their total retirement income is higher because they also have a larger investment portfolio, so they can easily make the payments. One couple is debt-free and the other isn't, but who actually has more flexibility? It's not as cut and dry as you'd hope. The debt-free couple has lower fixed expenses, but they also have fewer financial levers to pull. The couple with the mortgage, on the other hand, could technically pay off the house at any time if they decided it made sense, but they're also taking on different types of risk if they're investing the money. Most people would agree that neither is a clear winner, but it comes down more to personal preference. Or think about this. A retired person is buying a new car. Should they take the money out of retirement and pay cash, or should they borrow the money at 0%, 1%, 2%, and so on? So the presence of debt itself doesn't really tell you much. What matters more is the structure behind it, the size of the assets, the income streams, and how easily either situation can adapt if something changes. At the same time, debt does come with trade-offs. The biggest one is fixed payments. In retirement, flexibility matters a lot more than it does when you're working. If markets drop or something unexpected happens, you want the ability to adjust your spending. Debt makes that pretty difficult. The payment is still there every month, no matter what's going on. Timing matters too. The first few years of retirement are especially important. If the market dips early and you're pulling money out of your investments while also covering debt payments, it puts more pressure on your portfolio. That's where debt can become more than just a number. It can start affecting your choices. There's also the mental side of it. Some people are completely fine carrying a low-interest mortgage. Others just don't like the idea of owing anything. Even if the math says keeping the debt is fine, the simplicity of having no payments can be worth it for your peace of mind. That's a big reason why the idea of retiring debt-free is still so appealing. It's clean and it's simple, and there's nothing to manage. But here's something most people don't realize. If you look at the data more closely, the percentage of people who are debt-free actually goes up later in retirement. So it's not that people never get there, it's just that they get there later than they expected. Maybe not at 65, but at 70 or 75. It's just a longer timeline. And that changes how you should think about all of this. When people hear that only a small percentage of people retire without debt, it sounds like something's going wrong. But in reality, it's often just the result of how modern financial lives actually play out. People are buying later, living longer, and sometimes making choices that make sense. But it's worth separating two very different situations. For some retirees, this is a deliberate choice. They have the assets to pay everything off, but they decide not to because the rate is low or the money is invested elsewhere. For a large group of people, though, it's not really a choice in that sense. They're not sitting there weighing the trade-off in retirement and deciding to keep debt on purpose. They simply arrive there with whatever's left, what hasn't been paid off yet, what got refinanced, or what carried over from earlier choices. At that point, it's less about optimizing debt and more about working with the structure that's already there. Most retirees aren't really choosing to carry debt into retirement. It usually builds up earlier in life when borrowing made sense or was necessary, and then it just carried over. Once income dropped or stopped in retirement because they can't work anymore, it's a lot harder to pay off, so it just ends up sticking around. In the end, the goal isn't just to hit zero debt at a certain age. The goal is to be in a position where your finances are flexible enough that the debt doesn't control your choices. Because the idea of retiring debt-free is still what most people expect. It's just not how things usually play out.